Adam Stewart is the dynamic Chief Executive Officer of the world-leading resort company, Sandals Resorts International, and the ATL Group, Jamaica's longest-standing automotive, commercial and domestic appliance distributors and the largest private sector group in the Caribbean. He is also the president of the Sandals Foundation, a 501 non-profit organization which fulfills the promise of the Caribbean community through investment in sustainable projects in education, community and environment to help improve people's lives and preserve our natural surroundings. And I must share with you, when I read this, I thought, how can we learn more about Adam? So guess what? I Googled him, and his Instagram came up. And I want to say to you, if you really want to learn about the vibrant, adventurous person this young man really is, look beyond the formal CV and follow social media. It's exciting. We know he likes to go fishing, drinks Red Stripe, has a family, is passionate about the CTO Foundation. But I'm not going to say any more. It's his moment. He's going to motivate us. But he's an exciting young man, and we look forward to hearing what he has to say. Please join me in welcoming Adam Stewart to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll stand a little bit sideways here. To all of the government ministers here, it's great to see you. For those of you that we don't know, we look forward to meeting you, all the dignitaries, friends and members of the media, minister, and all of the CTO team. And of course the students. Could I ask the students just to rise so we can all see who they are? It's a lot of you. Thank you very much. So I suppose the reason they asked me to speak here today is because I'm right at the cusp of sort of still being young, but about to get old. I have hairline receding and some in the back disappearing. So firstly, let me just say it's a huge honor to the students. I remember the guest speakers that spoke to me. It was 12 years ago that I was in school. And as they always say, and it's always said, to have the ability to turn back the hands of time. I wish I could go back and know then what I know now. And I still have so much to learn. But before we get into my little speech here, I need a couple of volunteers. Could I get a couple of volunteers just to come up here? Volunteers, please. Yeah. Couple. Sorry. All right, sorry, we have one. That's all right. I'd like to thank you for coming up here. There you go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, man, you can sit down. Could I get a couple more volunteers to come up here, please? I need a couple more volunteers. Here you go. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You may sit. Can I have one last set of volunteers, please come up here? So that was a little bit of a real-life demonstration about leadership and those that go forth and the reward that they get when they're on the cutting edge. It always happens. No, you can have it. I'm going to expense it through Sandals, don't worry.
Don't forget your dad sitting.
Yeah, I know it. My boss is sitting there, so you always have one or two people that take those bold steps, but they get the highest reward, the people on the front edge. And then the second time I asked for people to come up, about 3 times as many people stood up. And then the third time, if you're looking from the back forward, about 5 times as many people. And with each time I asked him to come up, the first dollar was a $20 bill, the second note was a $5 bill, and the third note was a handshake. And that's a real-life example about leadership. And I think if there's any message today that we want to talk about, it's about leadership and it's about attitude. So in our company, in our world, our vision, certainly how I try to live my life, life is an attitude. Every individual in this room chooses their own future. When you wake up in the morning, you roll out of bed, you have the ability to be miserable, you have the ability to be negative, you have the ability to complain about your government, you have the ability to complain about friendships that you have or don't have, or all of the things that are wrong. And at the same time, you have that same ability to roll out to the opposite side of the bed and to look at life through an optimistic point of view. And what I find in our region in the Caribbean is I just wish more and more people would be more optimistic. So it's a very simple saying. Life is an attitude. And what is your attitude? What attitude do you choose? We mentioned Instagram today. You know, for me personally, I choose to be happy. Things are going to go wrong. Things are going to go wrong today. They're going to go wrong tomorrow, the next day. And you have to accept that. You have to simply accept that they will go wrong. But it's how you deal with those issues and how positive you stay and how do you correct them, how do you move forward, that I believe defines an individual as a person that they are. Our industry, the hospitality industry, is one of the most misunderstood industries, I believe, in our region. Our region is the most dependent part of the world on tourism, and it's pretty awesome to be sitting here with the future leaders of the tourism sector. Tourism will be the way out for our governments, our economies, and our countries. So in the Sandals world, we have over 20 different divisions. I was asked yesterday from the General Secretary just to make mention of the complexity of the tourism product. So people think of hotels and they think of food and beverage. They think of the rooms division, but they don't think how far it has become. We talked about social media, IT, and the infrastructure that's defining who we are. The reality is that the truth will come to the surface through social media. The answer is, the position is how good are you? You have security, you have IT, you have telecoms. As a matter of fact, if I said to anybody in here, tell me an industry and I'll show you how it's connected to the tourism industry. You have water sports, you have fishing, you have farming. You look at our vendors in the hospitality sector. There is no industry, literally no industry in the Caribbean that is not interconnected with tourism. You guys ever heard that song, Happy, by Pharrell? It's awesome, right? Every single Caribbean country has done a happy video, which speaks volumes to the people that we are. If I smile at all of you now, 2/3 of you smile right back at me. Come, let's try it. And that is the people that we are. We're a beautiful set of people, no matter which island. Yesterday, last night, we were in here. People from St. Kitts and Nevis, people from all of the islands. Sandals is in, lots of talk about Grenada Minister. But anywhere you go in the Caribbean, there's a spark and a warmth and a flair. So food is a little bit different. We call some things the same thing in other countries, but it's a little bit different. But it is that warmth. Our industry is the industry that is by nature designed to create dreams and memories. So when you sit back and you say, all right, let's choose a way forward in life. Let's choose where we're going to, what industry we're going to go in. There is no better industry in the world that makes you feel good than when you get up every day and you go to work. You create memories, whether they're in bridal, whether they're in scuba diving, whether they're in culinary arts, whether they're in rooms division that makes a little penguins and pelicans and things that put that. There is no greater industry because what you're doing is creating smiles all day long. All day long. I'm dying to see the presentations that come up here because I remember in school I tried very hard. I wasn't always the best student. My participation could have been higher every now and then. But I always tried to learn. I particularly tried to learn from those people that were older than me, more experienced than me. The people that have been there, done that. Yes, there are there's a wide variety of people that are in this room today in terms of age group. The social media age is something that, our generation, the younger generation has grown up with. It's completely changed the way the world works. But you'll be amazed how many of the baby boomer generation are on. Who here is not on Facebook? Can I see a show of hands? And my dad is lying because he's not on Facebook. But he does have a Facebook page. 2 hands went up in a room. How many people are here? 100 people? Maybe 150 people? And that is a reality, right? The world is becoming so interlinked one way or another. Our stories from the Caribbean and the things that take place in these Caribbean islands are being shared organically, whether we like it day in or day out. So it's a pretty simple message that I came here. I was given 10 minutes. I spent quite a bit of it handing out money and showing how it works. But for me, it's a simple position. Ask yourself who you are as a person. Ask yourself what your attitude is. Ask yourself how much have you learned? How much more can you learn? Remain very humble in everything that you do. And I would say remain humble because there's a good chance that you just may get it wrong. Nobody wants to swallow that pill when they get it wrong. Take risks. think your plans through. Think through what it is that you're trying to get to. Here's where you are today. Here's the end game. What is the ultimate objective? Communicate very clearly. Whether you're with colleagues in school, work, what exactly is the mission? What are we trying to achieve? In our organization, we just came from a function. My dad is here, who is clearly one of my greatest mentors. And it's simple. Everybody says, what's your game plan? We don't really know. We get up every day. We know that we're trying to give the best vacation experience that money can buy. We know that the world evolves. The Toyota Corolla of 1986 does not look like the Toyota Corolla of 2014. More gears, MP3, Bluetooth, no 8-tracks, right? Things progress. They get larger. People expect more today than they have ever expected before. People have a choice. They do not have to work 3 jobs or 2 jobs in New York City. They do not have to come to our island, so we have to outperform. We have got to be better. We have got to be better. For ages, we have sat in the crib and said, we're competing against Jamaica, against Barbados versus Antigua. That's not how it is. The reality is that our region has got to be one and united. We're competing against Europe, Asia these days. You have to outperform. How do you outperform? By working at it every day. You don't have to have a 5-year roadmap. As a matter of fact, any 5-year roadmap that a company, for the relevant people that are in this room today, would write, I would guarantee in 12 to 18 months, you got to start again. Things are happening at a rate through technology and social media, through services, at a rate that you just have to take one day at a time, step through, and make sure your team is in full harmony with you. And I use the word team a lot in our organization. We've become a fairly large organization with quite a lot of people, which means the mission, which is set by our chairman every day of life, has got to be well defined. And you can take that footprint and that model of Sandals and apply it to anything, to any business. Teamwork, humility, attitude, get up every day, work hard, rock and roll, and I promise you, I assure each and every one, in particular the students, you will be successful. And if you fail, do it again. People are so afraid of failure in the Caribbean. We have had our failures. And you just get up and you dust yourself off and try it again. You might try it a little bit different. And there is such a thing as to be, they say ahead of the curve. There is very much a thing about being too ahead of the curve. You can be too early for an industry that's not ready to go mainstream. So do your research, step through, one step at a time. Wake up, rock and roll, and make sure you roll out to the bed on the positive side. Everybody, I want to thank you very much for having me. Look forward to seeing the presentations.